Stronger together through the stormy weather.
Stronger together through the stormy weather.
Stronger together we can make it better.
Stronger together we can make it better.
Stronger together through the stormy weather.
Stronger together through the stormy weather.
Stronger together we can make it better. Over, let's take the world over, let's take the world over with love. Over, let's take the world over, take the world over with love. You see your world is spinning out of control. Don't know your end from beginning, you're losing touch with your soul. When you find yourself in a sticky situation, just pray,
breathe, meditate,
focus on your day.
You see me? I believe in my people, the power of my people, yeah. You see, we can move mountains, we part the oceans and sea. If you just believe,
we can take the world over, let's take the world over, let's take the world over with love. Over, let's take the world over, take the world over with love.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Stronger Together. That was just Stronger Together by Sherwin Dupes Bryce and Tappy TND. Brother Umoja, can you unmute yourself, or I need to unmute you? I got you, babe. We're stronger together. I got you.
Heavenly Father, pray for me. Please bless me, Heavenly Father. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Kathleen Walls, and this is Brother Umoja, Brother Ed Umoja, and together we are stronger together, and we're super excited to have you with us this evening. Please feel free to say hello in the chat and let us know where you are joining us from. We know that you could be anywhere in the world, and we thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. All right. So, Brother Umoja, you know you always start every show with a certain special way. So go on and kick us off.
Well, first and foremost, I greet everyone in the name of God and the ancestors on whose footsteps I most humbly walk. Praying blessings on everyone, especially here in the Northeast where we have this snowstorm. So welcome to Stronger Together. Hey, Dr. Walls, where you get that cool song from?
Oh, so yes, so that's strong. That's strong. That song, Stronger Together by Sherwin Dupes Bryce and Tappy Tandy. Sherwin Dupes Bryce out of St. Lucia and Tappy Tandy out of Uganda was our theme song for our film festival known as the Piton International Film Festival, PIF for short, which you'll hear us refer to and which you see behind Brother Umoja's head. So
that was PIF Africa song.
Yes, it was fantastic, and it's such a great song that they wrote specifically for us and for the film festival. And then when Brother Umoja and I decided to do this show and we were trying to figure out a name, it was like there it was right in our face. So here we go.
She twisted my arm, family.
And everything.
She twisted my arm. My arm is still twisted. You see, look.
Whatever, moving right along. So I was telling people, for those of you who are just joining, you already know, get your pen and paper ready. For people who already know, they already got it. I ain't even got to tell them. But tonight's topic stemmed from a conversation we were having the other night. And on Tuesday, on The Greatest Blueprint, Dina Davis and I were talking about dim, shine, get left behind.
Yeah,
And
you gotta tell the people who Dina Davis is. Yeah,
oh yeah.
for those who
All
don't know.
right. So for those who don't know, I do a show on the first and third Tuesday of the month called The Greatest Blueprint with our spiritual daughter, Dina L. Davis, LSW. She's a licensed social worker and self-love queen is what I call her, because that is really part of her calling, is to teach people to promote self-love and to teach people how to love themselves in a healthy manner. And so she and I talk about therapy tips and strategies and so forth. And so she had been watching different reels and little clips on social media. And one of the ones that came by was regarding Simone Biles and her husband. I don't know her husband's name, but and he apparently was on some show. And who knows how this stuff was edited and spliced together. But nonetheless, in this particular clip that's been running, it was this idea that he didn't know who she was and that he was the catch, and this idea of dimming one's shine, that basically, and so I haven't watched it, I didn't see it, but I'm saying this is what provoked the conversation on Tuesday night. And the question of, does someone have to dim their shine, right, in order to be in a relationship? Are you able to both shine when in a relationship, or does someone end up getting left behind because you're either saying, no, I'm not going to dim my shine, or that person is feeling as though you're outshining them, whatever it is. Um, so that's how tonight's topic came to pass, because in the process of explaining this to Edmund, he became very fired up at the thought of
Who,
someone having
me?
to dim themselves. And then you said, what about adjustments? So I now pass it to you. What about adjustments? Why did that topic, I mean, you really got fired up. I don't want to say
That's it.
enraged. Yes, you really got, no,
How come I
no.
don't?
I don't get I don't This is ridiculous. Why can't people see 360 degrees? You and I was like, oh, okay, this is a hot topic.
Okay, she has a way. She's a great storyteller, family.
I am.
She's a great storyteller. Oh yeah, yeah. No, when you brought the topic up to me, is that
Hmm.
me? I get a little feedback. Is that me?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay, it might be me. I think it was on my phone. I was sending some links out to some people for the show.
Oh, okay.
Um, no, when you brought the topic up to me, it's just like for some reason, um, we as a people, human
Mhm.
beings, we find there should be competition in everything.
Mhm.
And for me, that's not so. And so when you brought that up to me, I said, why it has to be, why does he or she have to dim their lights for the other one to
Mhm.
shine? I said, why
Mhm.
don't you just change your angle? There's
Mhm.
360 degrees to everything.
Mhm.
So there's times when you just change your angle, you keep your shine and you change your angle, and your shine doesn't look the same intensity from different angles,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we see that in photography all the time. We see that in film. No, you
Mhm.
change the angle where someone's standing, then the person is not so predominant in the image anymore, right? But
Mhm.
the person is still the same person, and they haven't
Mhm.
changed anything about them, but you just change your angle.
Mhm.
So why does she have to dim her shine? Why does he have to dim his shine?
Mhm.
Just change your angle that you are in the relationship. And we know about that because there's times I tell you, you take the lead. I don't
Right.
change who I am.
Mhm.
I'm still Ed Umoja Herman. I'm still the same person. I'm still going to be the same person. I just tell you to
Mhm.
take the lead because I feel you will do a better job at that particular time in the relationship.
Mhm.
And there's times when
Mhm.
you tell me to take the lead, right?
Mhm.
Mostly when we're talking to our Caribbean friends with heavy accents.
Absolutely
she
right.
she goes, you take the lead. What did he say? What did
That's
she say?
right.
What?
That's right. Because my ear is not attuned to it. So therefore it takes me a little bit longer to understand. Whereas there are times where, and we're looking, let me back up and say this. When you're in a relationship, the goal is for both people to shine, I believe,
Mhm.
when you're in a
Yeah.
healthy relationship, right? And so then it becomes a matter of whose strengths are better in each particular situation that you're in. Now, this also means self awareness. This also means awareness of your partner and their strengths so that you know what you're bringing to the table each time. So, as a life event occurs, therefore, we're pulling on our strengths. And so,
Mhm.
hence, we're stronger together. Go ahead.
No, that's correct. What you just said is so correct because there's times where um, I need you to take the lead, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm very comfortable with that because it doesn't reduce my shine. I
Mm-hmm.
think when you I think when you are able to allow your partner to take the lead, you're showing your strength
Mm-hmm.
and you're showing your
Mm-hmm.
intelligence
Mm-hmm.
more so. Because some people might say, why did he step back? Well, he or she stepped back because he or she knew their partner could do a better job at this particular time with the topic or the situation in front of them. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
means.
Mm-hmm.
And by stepping back, you're showing your intelligence and you're showing your respect to your partner and you're showing respect to the situation
Mm-hmm.
because the goal is or the goal should be to eradicate or come to the best conclusion with what's in front of you. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter who brought it up, but the thing is, you say, "Well, I can't. This is not for me,
Mm-hmm.
babe. Why don't you take that? I think you do better than that than I would with that."
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, I believe you show a certain amount of respect to your partner. You
Yeah.
show a certain amount of respect to the situation, and you're
Mm-hmm.
showing that you want this situation to be finished or
Mm-hmm.
completed as
Mm-hmm.
best as it can be.
Well, you
So
know
it's not
what?
dimming your shine.
As you're saying that, though, there's also has to be an awareness of competitiveness, and there also has to be awareness of jealousy,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And even
if
envy.
yeah, well, if you are in a stronger relation, if you're in a good relationship with the
Mm-hmm.
person and you truly respect that person, then those three
Mm-hmm.
things don't exist
Mm-hmm.
because the goal of this is me, I might be wrong, but the goal
Mm-hmm.
of a good relationship is to have a harmonious journey through life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are times when the wind is stronger on the left than on the right, and vice versa. So you
Mm-hmm.
say to yourself, I love the left side, so you take the right side, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And so if something's happening on the left side more than on the right side, the person on the left side have to evaluate it and say, listen, you know what? It's happening over here, but I think you will do better with this if you come over here and do this.
Right.
Right. So jealousy goes out the window, envy goes out the window, competition
Mm-hmm.
goes out the window because your goal is to fulfill or make that event or that situation
Mm-hmm.
have its best maximum results.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a challenge a lot of us have. We see it in government all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we hear mostly here in this country, we hear the Democrats are doing this, the Republicans are doing this, they're not doing it, they're not. Instead of doing what they say, let's cross the aisle and let's make this work for the best of the country.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hear that a lot. We hear it
Well,
only a few times.
it's interesting when you say let's cross the aisle. Again, I take it back to person specific because there are areas within ourselves where we have to know what envy feels like, right? What jealousy feels like, what competitiveness feels like when it rises up inside of us. And sometimes in relationships, we don't know what's going to activate those thoughts and feelings inside of us until they do. And then it becomes a matter of us being honest with ourselves that this is what I'm experiencing. And I need to be able to address it and honestly work through it. And what? I mean, obviously, you don't have to agree with me. Dude,
No, no,
those are my
I'm
thoughts.
with you. No, I'm with you on that. It's just that for me, now I say I might be wrong, but I think the average person of intelligence
Hmm.
knows when jealousy is popping up.
I disagree.
Well, let me say like this. The average person of intelligence in a committed relationship, I think knows when it's coming up because they might I think they know when it's coming up because they feel inferior or they feel lost. And the reason I
Okay.
say that is because if you're doing something and I feel inferior to you,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
because I feel like I don't feel as important
Okay.
as you feel because of the event you're going through or the event we're going through. Then
Hmm.
I think to myself, like I said, I think to myself, why am I feeling like this? This is somebody I love. This is my partner.
Hmm.
This we're in a committed relationship. Why am I feeling that
Hmm.
way about her?
Hmm.
Is she doing something to damage me? Is she
Hmm.
doing something to ridicule me?
I think these are great questions as you're giving them that people should take time to write down because when people are in relationships, it does evoke a lot of different feelings and a lot of different thoughts. And if we don't data check it, right, with taking honest inventory, is this person trying to ridicule me? Is this person attempting to hurt me, harm me? Is
Mhm.
this person attempting to disrespect me? Because a lot of times people say, oh, I feel so disrespected, I can't believe they were so disrespectful. And it's like, I don't think that person was attempting to disrespect you, but you know that person better than I do. Does that person have a history of disrespecting you?
Mhm.
And then a lot of times people will stop and take inventory, and it's like, give me specific examples. Because just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that the event or the situation that led you to feel that way was intended for
Mhm.
you to feel that way. But that you're asking people to I'm asking people to stop and slow down and assess and really think about it. Go ahead.
Mhm. No, you just said that. You said an important word there. You said stop and slow down. Excuse me,
Mhm.
an important phrase, not a word, but
Mhm.
an important phrase. Because there's times I think for all of us in life where what we see initially is not what it is factually,
Mhm.
right? Because you look at a situation initially and it comes at you really quick,
Right.
and you just evaluate so quickly, your evaluation might not be spot on. And then
Right.
when you step back and you say, "Oh no, she or he wasn't trying to do that." I
Right.
get it. I get it now. I know what she was trying to do. I know what he was trying to do. Okay, cool. And that's why sometimes it's very important. Oh, she's writing on the board, family.
That's right.
Little for the notebook, she pulled the board out.
I pulled the
Let's
board
evaluate
over.
this one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, what you said, what you said. So, right, you have 360 degrees, what you say all the time, right? There's 360 degrees to every situation. And
Hey,
360
Dr.
degrees
Walls,
is a circle.
you need to move. There you go.
There we go.
We were saying 270 degrees
You
only.
think, right? And so then you have whatever the situation is that you're focusing on right here in the middle, right? I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to turn this light off. So there we go. And you're saying that whatever life experience you come from, right? Your history, your past relationships, whatever, that's going to be the position that you're initially looking at this situation, right? That's the lens that you're going to come from. Yes,
Okay.
no, maybe so.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
pick up point on 360 degrees. That's where you are right now. So that's what you're seeing. What you're seeing is from that angle.
Right. So you're seeing this situation, whatever this situation is, all right, life event underneath it, right? From the angle that you come from based on your life's history, based on past experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And so this life event triggers your thoughts, feelings, past memories, and so forth. And so then there's the assumption, right,
Mm-hmm.
based on that data that your there's the thought that your assumption is correct. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. Now, the reality is you could be wrong, right?
Oh, not
And
completely correct.
or not completely correct. And the only way to clarify would be to ask questions.
But do me a favor, Dr. Walls. The star
Yes.
you put there, make your star bigger. Make it bigger.
Okay. All right.
For those who are watching this.
Okay.
I want to, and I'll explain to you why.
Big enough?
Yep, big enough. And
Okay.
extend your line back out again.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the reason I say you're not completely incorrect. Now, if you go 180 degrees across from where you were,
Yes.
go directly across and put a line there. Okay. And this is what I think as relationships for me, what I would say 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first one you did is about 10 degrees, right? Say it's
Okay.
about 10 degrees.
All
Okay.
right. So let's say.
It's about 10 degrees. So what I see at 10 degrees is that side of the star, right?
Yes.
Now, if I go 180 degrees, which will take me 190 degrees to the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
180 times 190 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm seeing is the same star, but from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So if the two perspectives, if you call it your perspective, the first one was A and the second one B,
Mm-hmm.
it's still the same perspective, but from a different position in 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it incorrect. It just makes what you're looking at seem different from a different angle, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing you're looking at. If it was a cake, you'd be looking at a cake if it was say it was a wedding cake and you're looking at a wedding cake, that wedding cake will look different at 190 than at 10 degrees. So the life experience, the life event you're going through, the way you are going at it, I see you at 10 degrees, it looks different than at 190 degrees. So now, if I'm in a relationship with you and I'm not trying to outshine you or you're not trying to outshine me, my job at 10 degrees is to look at what you're doing. My job at 190 degrees is to look at what you're doing and give you a fair assessment of what you're doing. And with that, you could say a couple of things. You could say, no, that's not what I meant. Or you could say, oh, thank you very much. You're giving me a different angle of it than I'm seeing, because you yourself, the star in the middle, you don't see yourself at all those different degrees.
Right.
So for me as your partner, if I look at you at 10 degrees and I look at you at 109 degrees, I see two different angles of you or what you're doing, then you yourself see it. So that's why I say I'm not reducing my shine. I'm just changing my angle of my shine. And by changing my angle, I see what you're doing from a different perspective, and I could give you a fair assessment. So in that way, my shine has not reduced. My shine has just changed its angle to help you and us be better.
Okay, look at you trying to get a tambourine shake out of me.
Oh.
Look at you. Oh, you went and got my other tambourine.
I knew something told me. You see, now here we go. Something told me to get it tonight. I don't know why, but I assessed the situation and I had to sit in there not knowing what you were going to do or say, but I was ready to assist you with your tambourine shake.
He done went and got one of my other tambourines. Y'all ain't know I had them all over the place.
But we're laughing, but that shows us unity in the relationship. It's not dimming your shine, because I didn't know you were going to do that. I didn't know I was going to do it, but before I went on air, I heard a voice inside of me told me bring the tambourine in.
Yes.
So some of the position I'm sitting at, I did not know what you were going to do.
Of course.
So all I did was I just accentuated what you were going to do by using your timbre the same time you were going to use it.
Yes.
So that made it even better. That made the situation even greater than we went to. So people who are watching say, "Oh man, he got a tambourine too."
That's right. Oh, you done made my cheeks hurt on that one. I ain't see that one coming, y'all. I ain't see it coming. But
I didn't know it was coming either.
It's to the point of amplifying, right? Amplifying the situation, hence stronger together.
Mm-hmm.
You bring your shine, I bring my shine, we shine brighter. The point of adjusting yourself, as you said, I'm just even thinking there's so much power in the adjustment. A lot of times people equate adjusting yourself with giving something up or giving up a piece of yourself. And sometimes that is the case. But also adjusting yourself can also mean amplifying yourself, right? Because now if I'm able to see this life event from this angle and I adjust myself to come look at it from this angle, I'm actually getting a fuller picture of this situation than just the limited angle that I initially was coming from.
Correct. And I think that's you just said something very important there, Dr. Wall, in that there are sometimes, unfortunately, when people go to make their partner shine, diminish, purposely go to crush their ideas.
What's that about? Have I seen that before? I'm trying to think if I've ever seen it personally or in the work that I've done. But you brought it up, so have you ever seen it before?
Oh yeah.
And in what ways have you seen it?
I've seen it many times. Being a man, being around other other men, I've seen when sometimes men make their partners look smaller or belittle them to make themselves look good. And the sad thing about those situations, the other men around them know what they're doing. So actually what they're doing is making themselves look like a fool. Because if you have to belittle your partner to make yourself look good, trust and believe everyone in the room, most of your friends know what you're doing. So you're actually showing your friends who you truly are and how you don't have real power or you don't have a real great aspect of yourself. Because whenever you have to belittle someone, especially your partner, to make yourself look good, actually you're showing people your shortcomings. And that's and like I said, I've been in positions with other men and see them speak down to their partner or say something or give a rude gesture to their partner. And you could tell it's not good because their partners feel so hurt. You could see the look in their partner's face. And you could tell how hurt they are. And then the person who did it don't care. They just go about their business. Then for us, the other men in the room around that person who know that person, we look at you differently. Okay. Our mindset on you or the way we think about you change. Because trust and believe, and there are unfortunately people who are going through this who might be listening to that. We know what's going on. Now, we might not have the courage to say anything, but we know what's going on. And and sometimes after our so-called friend leaves the area, we'll walk over and say, "It's okay, don't worry about it. We know what's going on." We'll whisper something to the other person, and we'll say, "Hey, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. And we'll say, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Good. So let them know that we know what's happening.
And that right, that what was done was not appropriate.
Right.
And so, and then, yeah, it's unfortunate that it does happen. I was saying that when I was younger, I remember somebody had said that they would date me publicly, like they would pronounce to everyone that we were dating if I
Uh-oh.
stopped playing sports.
Oh, what? I guess he hit the road real quick.
He hit the road. He never even got on the road.
Oh,
So,
Lord. His legs was in the air flapping around, huh?
exactly. And I mean, I was in grade school at this point, and he was in high school. So, for like a young person to have been able to say you have a boyfriend that's in high school would have been a status and a
Mhm.
clout situation. And this was someone, where there was a crush, and it would have been like, oh my goodness. And when that stipulation came, it was like, what? Like it was not something that I entertained in any way, shape, or form. But as I was saying the other night on the Greatest Blueprint, and you can go check out the Greatest Blueprint replay on Ask Dr. Walls 525 on YouTube. Um, it wasn't something that I entertained. And I said it would be interesting if I saw that person now and asked them if they even remember that. I doubt that they would even remember
Mhm.
saying such a thing. And because of social media, obviously I can see where they are in their life, and I know they have daughters and different things like that. And what would they say now? If their daughters came home and said, "Dad, this guy said blah blah blah," and he would probably have an oh my goodness, an absolute fit. But to
Mhm,
your
mhm,
point, right, there's ways in which people ask us uh, to dim our shine. There's ways in which people do things to try
mhm.
to dim your shine. I also remember one time somebody had said to me that they were so, and this was when I was in my 20s, might have been in my 30s, where someone had said to me that I was changing so fast and it was making them it was making them uncomfortable.
Mm.
And so my response was, not changing is making me uncomfortable. So, am I supposed to remain uncomfortable so that you remain comfortable?
Mm.
And if that's the case, then we can't even be friends if that's the case, because I'm not going to stop evolving and changing and developing. And part of that is because that's what I believe life is about. I think life is about evolving and adjusting, as you're talking about, adjusting within oneself, learning oneself, and as well as adjusting within relationships. And I know a lot of times, I think people see, or when they hear certain words, they think of it as being a negative or a diminish. But when
Mhm.
you talk about adjusting, you're not talking about being less than who you are. You're talking about adjusting for the betterment of the relationship, correct?
Yeah, correct. Excuse me, correct. I mean, if you and I keep saying the word committed, if you're in a committed relationship,
Hmm.
then the goal is for
Now, what do
both
you
of
mean
you.
by a committed relationship? Because I have people talk to me about situationships and
Uh,
my friend, look, my friend, and different things like that. So
oh,
when you talk about,
my friends with benefits.
yes,
Okay.
all of that kind of stuff. So when you're talking about a committed relationship, what do you mean by that?
Oh God. Well, when I say committed relationship, that means you and that person have made a decision to move together, to journey together, to
Mm-hmm.
support each other,
Mm-hmm.
to have no other person in your circle that you have
Mm-hmm.
emotional or physical connection to on
Mm-hmm.
on that level. You might
Mm-hmm.
have someone in the circle you have a personal relationship, but not on
Mm-hmm.
the same level. You might have someone you have a physical relationship, but not on that level. It means the two of y'all have taken your relationship to a level where it's only the two of y'all. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if you're a spiritual person and God and you're most high, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say committed relationship, that means when people see y'all, they see only you and her, or you and him. There is no third wheel, right? So people could say they see y'all, they'll say, oh, they will not say, oh, we saw him with another girl last night. We saw her with another guy last night, so forth and so. Oh, they were doing so and so, something. So
So
they're in
this
a
is
commitment.
someone who you have partnered with, who you've decided that this person can help. You both can help each other on this life's journey.
Yeah, y'all have your relationship has gone to a level where there's no third wheel. There's no other
Got it.
person in that relationship. It's committed
Okay.
to one another.
All right. So go ahead.
So when you're in that committed relationship with that person, you have made the conscious, spiritual, physical, and emotional commitment to that person. So that means if anyone else comes in, they don't know you as well as that person does from that point going forward. They might know you differently from time
From the
before,
past.
from the past. But moving from that point forward, that doesn't exist anymore. Okay. It's just you and that person. So if you have made that commitment on that level, what comes into play for me is at 360 degrees. That means you're not dimming your shine. You're adding your shine to that person. So now you guys went from a class B son to a class A son, from a small son to a major son. And so when people see you, they know. When people see her, they know. You don't even have to say it. People that see y'all and they say, "Ooh, those two are together." Because your shine is so awesome together. It doesn't blind people. It put people on notice. Okay, people say, like, "Woo, man, those two together." Like, okay, like we were in New York for our anniversary, right?
Yes.
And we were dressed in a certain way.
Yes.
And when we walked, people said, "Oh, you two look so good together." They didn't ask us were we together. They said, "You two look so good together," because of the way we were dressed, complimented each other physically and spiritually. We heard that lady on the street stopped us, stopped talking to us for like 20 minutes. And we didn't even know who she was until she told us later who she was.
Yes.
But the thing is, and I still keep in contact with her. I send her notes and she sends me notes off and on like that. But the thing is that when you're in that committed relationship and you put your shine with that person's shine, your shine goes from little to awesome. It's not blinding. It's just on notice. People say, "Oh, that's so." I don't like saying blinding because no, I want you to see what you're seeing. So I'm not going to try to blind you. I want you to see it. I want you to see it because we have a committed relationship. I'm not trying to hide it.
Right.
So I think it's sometimes picky with my words because I say I don't want to shout. I don't want to blind you. I want you to see it.
And
so
you know what? I'm glad that you said that real quick. Michael Ruiz in the Four Agreements talks about being impeccable with your speech, and being very mindful of our words is so important, and especially when we're in relationships with each other. When people be like, "Oh, I like them a little bit." No, you don't like them a little bit. You like them a lot. I need you to claim it, right?
Yeah, it's just like
I'm
you can't.
feeling her. You feeling her in what way? Like, I need you to claim it. Go ahead.
No, it's just like saying, "Oh, I'm a little bit pregnant," right?
Right.
No, if you're with that person and you are committed to that person, say it. What are you hiding?
Why downplay
it? Why reduce your shine? Make that shine awesome so everyone sees it and people feel comfortable. One, people will feel comfortable around the two of you. Another one, two, people will respect you on a different level. Because it's like, I always say when people say, "Oh, that's my girlfriend," and then people say, "Oh, that's my wife," you look at them totally differently, right? Say, "Oh yeah, that's my girlfriend." Yeah. Or you say, "Oh no, that's my wife." Or you say you go from girlfriend to "Oh, that's my fiance." People go, "Oh, okay."
Right. There's elevation in status. But
right?
what's also very interesting when you and I started dating. How do you remember how I referred to you?
Your man friend.
That's right. I did not ever call you my boyfriend. And I remember when now all of a sudden if I hear a whole bunch of people talking about that's my man friend, that's my man friend. Like I know y'all got it from me. Um, and I remember one of my girlfriends, and this is someone who I've known most of my life. And she was like, Kathy, she said, you have a boyfriend? I said, no, I don't have a boyfriend. I have a man friend. And she looked at me. She said, what's a man friend? I said, I'm a grown woman. I ain't interested in no boys. I ain't got no boyfriend. I've had them in the past, but I got me a man friend. And
People, pray for
it,
me. Pray for me. Pray for me.
it changed the nature because my relationship with you was not like any relationship I had had
Mhm.
before. And you were very clear when you and I started dating, even before we started dating, what your intention was for me and for our relationship.
Mhm.
So he staked his claim, y'all. I say he did me like Urkel, he wore me down because I wasn't trying to pay him no mind for several months. Now you doing Pee Wee Herman.
What's
you
my last name?
you mix. Oh, that's funny. Your last name is Herman.
Oh
Ba-dum, bump,
God,
ba-dum,
I
bump,
didn't
bump.
mean that. No, okay. For me,
Now I got Pee
eh,
Wee Herman stuck in my head. Okay, go ahead.
no, for me, and that's just this is me. It's not nobody else. This is just
Hmm.
me. I think I've gotten to the stage in my life where I was like, okay, why didn't this work? Why didn't that work? Why didn't this work?
Hmm.
And taking a fair assessment of myself,
Yes.
I saw what did not work,
Yes.
and I did not want that to be an issue anymore. So I
Hmm.
went in the opposite direction of 360 degrees. I was at when I went the opposite direction. I said, for
Hmm.
this to work, now I know what issues I had. Let me not
Hmm.
do those issues, and let me consciously flip the script so
Make
it
new
works.
choices.
Make new choices, make better choices,
Hmm.
and commit myself to those choices.
Hmm. So you
And
made
that's
your own internal
yeah,
mental, emotional adjustments.
yeah. And I think a lot of us can do it, and there's some of us who needs assistance in doing it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I was blessed. I had a lot of elders around me,
Hmm.
was always talking to me. I was
Spiritual
put in,
advisor.
yeah, I had a spiritual parents, I had spiritual
Hmm.
advisors. I had people who was always talking to me, and I think that one of the important things for us as human beings is our willingness to truly listen. Excuse me,
Hmm.
our willingness to truly listen.
Hmm.
Sometimes we listen, but we're not listening.
No, sometimes you're hearing and you're not
Yeah,
listening.
that, yeah. And so once we make our decision
Hmm.
to truly listen to
Hmm.
what is being said, I think it becomes easier, or we see the path becomes clearer. Not easier,
Hmm.
but the path becomes clearer
Hmm.
on what we need to do and what we
Yeah.
need not to do.
Yeah.
And then we make the conscious decision
Hmm.
to follow this way or follow that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree. And the fact that you talked about, right, you have wise people around you.
Mhm.
And we have to be mindful of who we share our information with, right? Who we share our
Mhm.
relationship with, who we share our goals with, because unfortunately, everybody's not rooting for you. And sometimes the people closest to you who you think would be rooting for you can be those who are rooting against you.
Mhm.
And I know with me, when it came to you, you talk about making adjustments. I ain't tell nobody nothing. I ain't
I was the
posting.
ninja family. I
You
was her
was
ninja. I was her
you
ninja.
honey, he was in the background. Like people did not know at all. And
See,
the
I was
next thing I
different.
know, I posted that we had gotten married, and it was like, first of all, when did you start dating somebody? 4 years ago. And then when did you get married? Because I think the first time I might have posted would have been was like around our first anniversary or second
Mm.
anniversary or something like that.
See that, family? See how she do me? That's why I said 360 degrees. Go to the other angle. Go to the other angle and reassess everything. They say, oh, okay, that's why she did that. Okay, fine. I mean, I
Hmm.
was cool with it. It didn't really bother me. And she could tell you that it really didn't bother me. I was like,
Not at
whatever,
all. Right.
because I was looking at the bigger picture. I
Hmm.
wasn't, Dr. Walton always talk. If you're walking and a pebble gets in your shoe, what do you do?
Hmm.
The intelligent person stop, takes the shoe off and shake it off, put it
Hmm.
back on, and continue to walk.
Hmm.
Some people will just continue to walk with the pebble in their shoe until they
Hmm.
get a blister, and then their
Mm,
foot get infected, and
mm,
then they gotta go see the doctor, and then the doctor, oh,
mhm.
this is that. So no, so
Creates
I thought,
long-standing problems.
yeah, so I just stopped, took my shoe off, looked at the pebble, shook it off, and put it back on because I had goals, and we were talking about plans and future plans.
Hmm. Life
So
goals.
I wasn't gonna let a pebble in my shoe um
Hmm.
disturb that. So I was like, well, that's what she wants to do. She has her reason why. From a female perspective, she had her reason.
Hmm.
From
Hmm.
she lived in Philly, I didn't live in Philly. She had her reason why. So I was
Hmm.
like, whatever. I respected it, and I think for me, and I say this to you all the time, I don't have to understand it or like it. I just have to respect it.
Hmm.
And I say that because sometimes we as people, we put the two together, liking something and respecting it, and those are two different energies.
Hmm.
There's things you don't like, but you will respect it, and there's
Hmm.
things that you like and respect, which is great.
Hmm.
But I always think of like there are people I particularly don't like, but I respect them as human beings. Once they're
Hmm.
not physically hurting people, I'm
Hmm.
like, you do you because you're gonna have to live your consequences, not me.
Hmm.
Okay. And I'm like, you and I cannot walk together, but I'll
Hmm.
respect your walk. That's your walk, but it's not
Yeah.
my walk. So I think sometimes we get those two words and we intermingle them together too much. There's
Well, I
times
think
when,
a lot of times that happens with different words, ideas, and concepts,
yeah,
and so it's so important to tease them out. And that's why
yeah,
even with this topic of adjusting, it's clarifying where you, one partner, such as myself, need to make adjustments. You, other person, partner, need to make adjustments. And then we, collective couple, need to make adjustments. And it all requires communication, self awareness, um, so meaning me self awareness, you self awareness, and then communication between us about what we're noticing with
mhm,
and for each other. And as you said, you had goals in mind, I had goals in mind, and then we collectively had goals in mind for our relationship, which then caused us to say, where do we need to make the necessary adjustments in order to achieve that greater goal? And so when I work with couples and with families, one of the things that I do is often ask them to create a marital mission statement or a couple mission statement to help them navigate the walk of being a
mhm,
partner with someone. Because sometimes that mission, that goal has to stand greater than your own personal stuff, right? And so, are we working towards this goal or are we working against this goal? Are you
mhm,
and I working together well or are we not working together well? And I always say, I appreciate it when you said to me, let's adjust, let's assess, let's discuss and assess how we're doing in every season because you and I, and this is just the reality of people, our energy levels shift
mhm.
with each season. And so we need to be able to go through 4 seasons to see, are we two individuals that want to be with each other through multiple seasons?
People, pray for me, please. Pray for me. Pray for me. Lord have mercy.
But that's real talk. And, and the reality, I remember there was one person who I used to date and we dated on and off, but we would only date during certain seasons. And then we would break up the other seasons, and then that following 2 seasons would pass, and we come around, and it'd be a matter, and next thing you know, it's like blinky, blinky, winky, winky. Next thing you know, we back together again. And then after so many times, it's like this is ridiculous. Like this is a pattern that we are not going to keep doing. So, but there was the assessment of the seasons that I didn't realize I was doing back then. So you brought it to the forefront.
Well, I think something one my spiritual father, Grandmaster Cam, made me aware of, and being a grandson of a farmer, I was aware of it on certain levels. But Grandmaster Cam took it to the next level for me. Is that every season our energy level changes, and who we are, we have to make adjustments. And for those who are listening, if you're here in the Northeast, or wherever you are, when springtime comes, well, you are like, woo, yeah, poop, poop, poop. You're happy because the birds are chirping, and even though some of us get allergies, we're still happy for springtime, right? So coming out of a winter with coats and all this level of clothing and stuff like that. So even we see it up front, but we just don't acknowledge it.
Yes.
So we see the animals go through it too, right? And we are animals ourselves. That's supposedly a higher intelligence animal, supposedly. So the farmers look at the almanac to see when's the best time to plant the crops.
Yeah.
So why don't we think it affects us on our relationship level? It affects us on so many levels. Why do we stop? Why do we put a barrier there and don't think about it? And to me, I always said, even our spiritual daughter, I said, well, you need to date him for 4 seasons to see how he is in each season. Because there are adjustments that we make internally, physically, on all levels, mentally, as the season change. Because in the wintertime, we're like, oh man, we've got to put all these clothes on, we got to do this. It changes who we are. The summertime comes, the springtime comes, and the sun comes out. Some of us are going to the beach and getting sun baths and stuff like that. We start exercising, we start jogging outside more. So the seasons affect us on all levels. So it has to affect us on our relationship level too.
Yeah.
Because, hey, like a guy, like, hey, your girlfriend puts her shorts on, you're like, wow, you want to go jogging with her.
You are funny. As you're saying it, though, I'm thinking so many times. I know Steve Harvey, when he came out with his book about kind of waiting 90 days, right, 3 months for certain parts of relationships to transpire. But, right, it's a season. And really, depending on when that relationship starts, sometimes you may be half and half, right? Fall and winter, half a fall, half a winter. You may have gotten in, depending on when you entered into the relationship, and taking into account that sometimes people get in spring and summer and they trying to have their spring and summer fun, and they not interested in the relationship. But during the fall and the winter, they want to be cozy, cuddled, and comfort. And so then they're looking for somebody, but they're only looking for a temporary relationship, right?
Yeah, some people don't want to be alone during the holiday seasons.
You got that right.
Yeah, they and then when the spring comes, like they're like, "Woo, I'm out of here."
And some people don't want to be in a relationship during the holiday season because they don't want to buy no gifts. So
that's true.
So they'll be with you up until a certain point in the fall, disappear for the holiday season, and then re-emerge after Valentine's Day. So
after Valentine's, yeah, and also being a Kemetic elder, something I learned from my teacher is like the calendars. We have, even though we as human beings have different calendars, different New Year's and stuff like that. So there's different calendars. We should be aware of our cycles. Because like in the Kemetic circle, we talk about 13 months and 28 days in each month, right? And the calendar we use here, the most popular calendar that's used globally, they make adjustments in that calendar. We have a leap year, right? Why do we have a leap year? Okay, because the sun doesn't change. The earth doesn't change, so we have to make the adjustment ourselves to them, right? So we have to add, we have a leap year we add. We have times when they say you have to add a minute or something to the clock. all kinds of things, they say about the calendar, and that's based on the sun and the rotation of the earth around the sun, right? Those don't change, and when they do change, we must make adjustments to that. So even in the stars, we make adjustments. So why don't we think we have to make adjustments in our relationship? We make adjustments.
That's a huge question mark. People say,
think about, and even the people who are like, yeah, they read the horoscope.
right?
When people read the horoscope every day or every month, they read this horoscope. June is in
Especially
this.
now, the beginning of the year. What does the year have in store for me? How have the planets adjustment? I mean, goodness knows, what do we hear it all the time? I never thought about it that way. Because how many times people say, "Oh my goodness, it's Mercury retrograde." I can't tell you the number of times I get text messages or in sessions that, when is it over? When is retrograde over? Right? They're waiting for that planet to make its adjustment because they notice that it's had an impact on their life in usually ways that they don't like, and they want the reprieve.
I think the biggest one's the Mercury retrograde. And you know how me about how I feel about that already, right? So and so when we understand what that's about, we have a decision to make the adjustments or not make the adjustment. And I have made the decision to make the adjustment because it is something.
And look at and you made the adjustment not to look at Mercury retrograde like a hindrance or something troublesome or burdensome. Instead, you've made the adjustment to look at it how?
Well, I made the decision. We know we talk about Mercury retrograde. Mercury is about communications. So I would say to myself, that's telling me I need to slow, not to stop it, but to slow myself down. Instead of saying yes so quickly or no so quickly, reassess myself in this time and slow myself down so that way I get in alignment with it, and that way it could work for me instead of against me.
And I look at Mercury retrograde as a time of reflection, assessment, and the ability to clean up and clear out anything that you need to work on. Because during that time, things float to the top, float back to your awareness. Old people from the past will pop back up, which gives you a time to make an honest assessment of whether or not you want them back in your life
Chop.
riddance. That's right.
I'm a chopper.
Chop. Right. So right. It's on how you adjust yourself, as we talked about here. And anybody that missed the drawing and understanding of what this is, you can go back and catch the replay with the explanation. Right. But it's an opportunity to reflect, assess, and adjust.
I think Dr. Wall's the biggest. Hopefully, what people get out of this podcast today is that take the time to assess yourself. What in the beginning of the year, what is your goals for the year?
What I literally was sitting here. I had a break in my meetings today, and that's one thing I've been working on with my clients is their goals for the year, and really getting very specific about their goals and creating the tasks that are needed to accomplish their goals. Because many times people say things like, I want to lose weight, and it's like, okay, how much, what are you doing? Are you also talking about inches? Like, what are the specifics? Well, I'm going to go to the gym. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to do cardio. What specific cardio are you going to do? For how long are you going to do it? For how many days a week are you going to do it? And because the more you can drill it down, the more successful you're going to be at accomplishing those goals. I mean, again, let's just take it to college, right? I'm going to go to college. Okay, what's your major? Right? That's going to determine which classes you take. And then that's going to determine what your schedule looks like. And that's going to determine how you allocate your time. So it's very important, as you're creating whatever goals you're going to accomplish, create the smaller tasks that are going to lead you to the completion of each of the goals.
Yeah. You said that, and, excuse me, back in the late 90s, the system, people know Iyanla Van Sant. Right? before she blew up, she used to do workshops in New York City at City College at Aaron Davis Hall. I think it was like once a month. And
Okay.
I used to go to them. Me
Mm-hmm.
and Sister Helen and a few of us, we used to leave New Jersey and drive across to Aaron Davis Hall for these. And it was funny. It was always interesting to me when we first started going. There was a very limited amount of guys in there. I used to look around and see how many. I'm sitting there with all these women. I'm like, okay. And as it got more popular, more men started coming. Either the partners was bringing them, or they heard about it and they started coming. But one thing, I used to sell the cassette tapes after. They used to make copies of the cassettes of the class and give it to the seminar, and give it to and pay you to buy them. Okay. And one thing I remember she said that had stuck. Several things she said stuck, but one thing that really hit me. She said, "Be specific about your prayer. Be specific." And she said, that hit me because a lot of times we pray, say, "Lord, I want to be financially independent. Lord, I want this." But she just tell the women, "You're praying for a man. Did you tell the Creator what kind of man you're looking for? 6'3", 5 feet, whatever. What kind of clothes he has, he likes to wear." She said, "Be specific about your prayer." And that really hit me, because I was like, are we specific enough about our prayer? And I'll put that out to the people who are listening. Are you specific, or are you just saying a general? Yeah, are you just saying a general prayer? No,
It's
be
very
specific about your
important.
prayer.
And my mother raised us on specifying everything that we wanted and being as specific as possible. Because, for instance, like today, I asked you, I said, "Can you go to the store?"
And then she sent me
And
a list.
I sure did, a specific list of
Oh,
18 items that I needed from
smartphones.
the store, right? But if
Smart.
I had just said go to the store and pick something up, and then you would have come home with a whole bunch of items, you might have hit some of them, but you might have missed a lot of them
Oh, I
too.
will have hit, but you eat differently than I eat. You see
Right,
that, fam? You see that 360 degrees behind her? She
right.
eats differently than I do, and we respect each other's space on that.
hmm And so if I hadn't been specific enough, then I would have been disappointed. And then you would have had to go back to the store, and then you would have been annoyed with having to go back to the store. And so, right, being specific becomes very important. And so making those adjustments. I mean, even we used to eat the same, but we saw the way in which what you were eating was having an impact on my body in a way that I did not want it to go. And so I had to adjust
Mm-hmm.
what I was putting in so that I could get the results that I prefer.
Hey, family, I was trying to do Nelly's song on her. It's getting hot in here to
You
take up all your. Hey, a
and
brother
on
got
that
used.
and
A
on
brother
that
got used.
note,
What a brother got used.
the time has come to an end. There
Hey,
it is. There it is.
a brother got used everything he got to use, man.
You got to use what you get. So, all right, y'all. We thank you as always for joining us on Stronger Together. Let's see what is going on. I will be sure if you haven't joined my YouTube page, Ask Dr. Walls 525, please be sure to do so. I have pop up podcasts all the time, so you never know. I know the one that's due to come up next is February 1st, which is not Stronger Together, it's Sisters for Harmony, which is our registered nonprofit. And we will be having Dr. Natasha. I'm trying to remember Dr. Natasha's last name. Sorry, y'all. Give me
It's
one moment. Um, Let me see here. Here it is. Ramental. Dr. Natasha Ramental. She is the one that does the international nursing program, gives information about medical procedures in different parts of the world and so forth. So very interesting woman and work that she does. So super excited to have that conversation. I have some authors that I'm in the process of scheduling, so they may pop up before the 1st of February. So be on the lookout. And I also have some possible flowering fashionista podcasts popping up. Ooh. So be sure to check out my page. The easiest thing to do is go to the playlist and you'll see the different categories of shows that I have. And then I have some more that are going to jump off in February. So I'm super excited about those. In the
Black
meantime,
Heritage Month.
in the meantime, please also check out my website, askdrwalls.com. You can get a peek at my different books. And so, first and foremost, there is The Greatest Soul Journey, which is a workbook style journal where I give you food for thought, the greatest, and then ask you a series of questions. The greatest stands for God restores excellence, activates talents, encourages spiritual transformation. Next up is Live by the Spirit, which is another workbook style journal. Again, just insights that I've had, and then space for what has been triggered inside of you. It might remind you of something you've been through, it might help explain something that you've experienced. And then I have my what I call adult children's books because they're good for adults and for children. And I am the self proclaimed #1 adult children's books author. Throughout the multiverse, I am claiming all places and spaces. And this is there The Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, a hip hop tale. There's The Reunion. There's Bunny Gets Bullied, which is about her first experience with being bullied. There's Froggy Foo and Mungu, which is Froggy T's response to when Bunny was bullied. And last but not least, there's Feeling Feelings. All the books are available in print. The Reunion actually also comes in an animation and ebook. And what else? Digital audio book with voiceovers. So all that can be found on my AskDrWalls.com page. And the books are currently available on Amazon as well as in the TikTok shop. TikTok shop. And I think that's it for now. I have a couple other books and workshops that'll be coming out soon. So I'm just in the process of getting all of those uploaded so that I can start to advertise them and we can get some goals taken care of in 2024. So I'm giving y'all the month of January to see what you can accomplish on your own. And then when it's time to get into gear on February 1st, so we can take care of these goals the rest of the year. So I'm getting ready. Any announcements on your end, Brother Umoja?
Not really. I mean,
season 3.
We are working on season 3. We want to thank all the people who are supporting us with it.
Yeah.
We have several countries we're doing some work on, and it's very unique, and it's about us telling our story from our perspective of where we address human trafficking. And I have to say, it's not a documentary, family. It's an action adventure. And yeah, that's what's going on. And the second thing is, Dr. Walls and I will be on the red carpet in February.
Yes.
Killer X is a movie that's coming out.
World premiere.
And the star is a good friend of ours, Master Jose Torres, and that's going to be taking place in New Jersey. And we're going to be on the red carpet doing some interviews and meeting the stars of the show. And some people are coming in from overseas and from the West Coast. So we're really excited about that. Yeah,
and there's only a few tickets left. So if it's something that you're interested in seeing, the showing is going to be in Burlington, New Jersey, correct?
You could definitely check my Facebook page. Has the information on it.
Has the link. And what's your Facebook page?
Ed Umoja Herman.
Okay. So
yep.
You can go
we're really
there.
excited about that.
A few tickets left, and yes, yours truly will be hosting the red carpet and doing the interviews. And there'll be some faces that you recognize if you're into martial arts and old martial arts movies. You'll definitely see some people that you recognize.
And they might see they'll see some people from Karate Kid 3. I think he's one of the gentlemen from that is coming in from that movie franchise. So we're really excited about that. And congratulations to Master Torres on all his success.
Yes, definitely. All right, y'all. Continue to work together. Remember, we are stronger
together.
You got that right. All right. As always, God bless and continue to live your greatest life. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.